All right, so we're going to talk about keys for success for OU quarterback Michael Hawkins against this Texas defense. We're going to preview the Texas defense, talk about them for a little bit, then preview what the keys are for Hawkins to pull off the upset. Again, I know it's a team game, but we're just breaking it down from the quarterback perspective. So we'll talk about the keys for Hawkins to pull off the upset against Texas. We're all going to watch some film in like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. We'll put on some film of the Texas defense and then the clips of Hawkins and the plays that he's going to need to make and the plays that he's going to have to probably make routinely, or not routinely, but repeatedly to beat this Texas defense. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about Texas's defense first. One of the best defenses in the country so far. I think they've given up like 35 points in 5 games. Yeah, 35 points in 5 games. They have 63 pressures in those games, 13 sacks, 6 interceptions. So they've done a good job doing a little bit of everything. Pressure, not giving up big plays, not giving up a lot of points. Now, you can make the argument, well, they haven't faced a good offense, and that's probably fair. You know, Michigan's offense is not very good at all. Mississippi State's offense hasn't been very good, and they have UTSA, UL Monroe, and Colorado State. But thus far, they've done exactly what you need to do against those type of opponents. So what do we think they're going to do against Hawkins? Well, I think the theme is they're going to want to try to get pressure without needing to blitz and trust their secondary not to give up any big plays. So far, against their kind of 2 bigger opponents, if you will, Mississippi State, they blitzed 15% of the quarterback's dropbacks. Against Michigan, they only blitzed 22% of the quarterback dropbacks. So I would imagine they try to do something similar to Hawkins, have a spy on him and try to force him to read 7, 8 defenders and still try to get pressure on Hawkins while having 7 or 8 guys dropping back to defend the pass, right? So that's how I would imagine they're going to try to defend Hawkins. We're going to see a few clips of Texas defense against Michigan. One clip's going to be an interception, and you're going to see the example of when you get pressure on a quarterback, it leads to just ill-advised throws. But then we're going to see an example of how you can potentially beat this Texas defense. It will take a complete game from Hawkins. So let's talk about Hawkins. Let's talk about the keys real quick before we watch film. So I think the big theme, if I'm looking at Hawkins, is the fourth quarter he had against Auburn. I think you're going to have that for the entire game or the majority of the game to pull off the upset. So you combine some fourth quarter throws, especially that big deep ball, and you combine his ability with his legs to not just run, but to buy time and throw on the run. I think it's going to have to be on display the entire game. And I think you're going to have to continue with what he's comfortable in. So he had 10 completions against Auburn, and every completion was off a play action throw. So you don't want to overcomplicate it. Like one side of the field reads, like if give him 2, 3 quick reads, if they're not there, take off and run. Like I think for a young quarterback, a true freshman quarterback against a really stout defense, I think those are simple keys. I think sometimes coaches can overcomplicate things at times. So Hawkins, what are the keys? Well, key number 1, utilize play action. He was 10 of 12 off play action against Auburn. Every completion, like we talked about, was off of play action. Key number 2, you're going to have to hit on some vertical throws. Like that deep throw, we're going to show it here in a second. The deep throw he had against Auburn, that was great, and you would love for that to happen. Are you going to need a deep throw like that to win? I don't necessarily think like that, but you're going to have some intermediate plus type throws, 15-yard type throws, throwing the ball downfield. So of his 10 completions, only 4 completions, the ball was thrown past line of scrimmage. They had 6 completions where the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. So I don't think that's you're not going to be able to beat Texas just doing that. And of those 4 completions where the ball was thrown past line of scrimmage, 3 came on the run, right? So only 1 completion that was past line of scrimmage was on kind of a more traditional pass, if you will, which is fine in theory, but you're going to have to push the ball downfield a little bit more. That's key number 1. Key number 2, utilize your legs as a runner. I think you're going to have to improvise as a runner, whether that is by design quarterback runs or whether that is by just scrambling. Then key number 3, do what's comfortable. He's comfortable throwing on the run, so set up some of those design throws, some play action, some rollouts. So you want some design quarterback throws where he's on the run, but also he's probably going to have to make some plays where if the play breaks down, he's going to scramble and throw on the run, right? So those are the main keys. Push the ball downfield, utilize your legs as a runner, and then utilize your legs as a thrower, as a passer, throwing on the run, improvising, and off design quarterback throw. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at the clips real quick. We'll have Texas defenses first. We'll look at Texas D first against Michigan, then look at some clips against Hawkins. And as we're watching this video, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think the keys are for Hawkins. So let's go ahead and watch the film. So here are 2 clips of Texas defense. Going to show 2 different things. The first clip we're going to watch is Texas just bringing 4, and it leads to a bad throw. It's a really bad throw, but it leads to an interception. So Yes, the reason why Texas picked this was because of the bad throw, but they were getting pressure the entire game and up to this point. So it's a good example of the more and more pressure you can get, it leads to bad, ill-advised throws like this. Now, there's probably some miscommunication, right? But still, Texas is able to get the pick there. So again, they bring 4, like we talked about. They don't blitz a ton. It's strategic when they do. And the more pressure they get on the quarterback, the more likely they are to throw a bad throw like this. So clip number 2, we're going to see how to potentially beat a Texas defense. And it's them blitzing and bringing pressure. They're going to bring 5 in this next clip. Let's see when's it coming up. Okay, so they're going to bring 5 in this next clip. You're going to see it's 3rd and 5. Texas brings 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's going to be man defense. So got to cover 1, then man under, so man free, if you will. And so we got man. It's a good throw by the Michigan quarterback Davis Warren here on this little slant or crossing route. But Texas brings 5, or they bring 6, excuse me. Okay, they bring 6 here, and it's actually fairly decent coverage. I know it looks like he's a step, which he does, but it takes an accurate throw to hit the receiver in stride, right? So again, Texas doesn't blitz a ton. What did we say, like 17-something% against Mississippi State and like 20-something here against Michigan. But when they do, if you get man coverage, one of your receivers is going to have to beat the DB, and you're going to have an accurate throw, hit your guy in stride for first down. Again, they don't blitz a ton, but 2 examples of them dropping 7 and then blitzing 6 and only having 5 in the backfield. All right, so the next clip's going to be clips of Hawkins. Let me pause it. I'll move myself. Going to be clips of Hawkins and the type of throws and plays that he's going to need to make. Again, we talked about he's going to have to hit in a vertical throw. I really think there's going to have to be a vertical passing component to beat Texas. And it doesn't have to be this bomb here. I mean, you would love to have a bomb or 2 like this, but it's going to have to be some intermediate 15-ish, maybe a 20-yard throw here and there to beat Texas, right? So here's an example. Clip number 1. The ability is there. The potential is there. Are you going to hit in a throw like this versus Texas? I don't know, but it's an example of needing to push the ball downfield in some way, shape, or form to beat Texas. Clip number 2, like we talked about, he had 10 completions against Auburn, right? 10 completions against Auburn. Only 4 completions were thrown in front line of scrimmage, and it was that deep ball, and the other 3 was him using his legs. That's what he's comfortable with. So he's going to have to utilize his legs to buy time, whether it's by design or whether it is from the play breaking down. He's just more comfortable throwing on the run, which is fine, especially for a true freshman quarterback. But plays like this, I think he's going to have to make throughout the game. Obviously, you want to see him get comfortable dropping back. You want to see him go through progressions. But right now, you know what he's comfortable with, so play with what he's comfortable with. And like we talked about, like shorten the field, like one side reads, field side reads, boundary side reads, whatever it may be. Like make it easier where you read. If your reads aren't there and you go through quick, you take off and run. But nice throw here by Hawkins. Again, I think he's going to have several throws where he improvises and throws on the run, but also I think some design plays where he's throwing on the run. This last clip here is going to be Hawkins running that 50-yard touchdown or however long it was to start the game against Auburn. I apologize. I also think his legs are going to have to be a factor against Texas. And Texas knows that. They're going to be planning for it, scheming that. I don't think his legs need to be the center of the game plan against Texas. I think Texas is going to be planned for that. But I think he's going to have a few scrambles or through a few plays where he goes off script. I'll move myself out of the way. Where he goes off script like this for them to win. Now, of course, there are going to be some design runs. I mean, when you have an athlete like Hawkins, you're going to have some design runs. But I truly think it's going to be Hawkins improvising, escaping pressure, and maybe busting a long run or 2. Like we talked about, maybe they don't hit explosive plays in the passing game. Maybe they don't. But if you can have an explosive play, 1 or 2 explosive plays in the run game, that's fine too, as long as you win the game. That's all you care about if you're an Oklahoma fan. Okay, so Sooner fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Hawkins needs to do? What are the keys for success to beat and to upset Texas? Because last time I looked, you were 14.5 point dogs. Again, just to recap the keys I think Hawkins needs to do, I think you're going to have to hit in a vertical shot or 2. And if you don't, you're going to have more intermediate throws than you had against Auburn. You're going to have more completions past line of scrimmage than 4, like you did against Auburn. How do you do that? Well, hopefully the deep ball like we just saw, hopefully utilizing what he's comfortable with, and that's rolling out, that's using his legs to buy time, but some design plays where he's throwing outside the pocket, and then he's going to have to improvise like this clip here and use his legs, I think, to beat and upset this Texas team. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think he needs to do. What do you think about the Texas defense? Anything is fair game here. If you're a Texas fan, let me know your thoughts. We also have a Texas video talking about Quinn Ewers and the Oklahoma defense as well. So if you want to watch that, that will be on our channel as well. So thank you for watching. Again, we're just a big SEC quarterback hub. If you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. It really does help us grow, and we'll continue to put out this SEC QB content throughout the season. Thanks for following us along. We'll see you next time. Peace.